Thank you so much to today's incredible Patreon sponsors, Film Swag, Folk Bear, and Yacht. Their support is really appreciated. Hello everyone, my name is AndrewAJT, and welcome to a little OSRS vlog. Now I just want to start off by saying thank you so much to everyone who came to the 30k subs Castle Wars event, or even if you couldn't make it, thank you for being a subscriber anyway. I really appreciate it, and I just want to say thank you again for 30k. Even if you're a new subscriber and this is the first video you've ever watched, thank you. So today I want to try to answer a question which I thought of, and I realized that I've never really thought of this question before, and I want to kind of ask myself it in this video and attempt to answer it, and that is, why do I like making videos? It's a really fascinating question because I'm not really a person who likes to put myself out there if I don't have to, or if there's not a good reason to. But at the same time, I love making videos. I've done it since 2007, and it's one of the coolest things in my life. It's really enjoyable for me to do, so why did I start making YouTube videos when I'm not really the type of person you would expect to do it? Just to give you an example to understand how I see things, I love the AndrewAJT 62 clan chat, and our Discord server as well. They're two of the best things I've ever created, but I don't actually love being the owner of them. I just like being a member of them. I don't want to be viewed differently than anyone else. Now, of course, practically speaking, I am the owner of them, so it's my responsibility to organize events and such, although other people are capable of doing that as well. And I have to make decisions about how to run things and also what channels to add. Usually I take a pretty laid-back approach anyways, but there are some decisions I have to make, which I don't mind doing. I'm perfectly fine with being a leader, but in an alternate universe, I would rather just be a member. So just with that example in mind, I guess we can go back to when I started making videos back in 2007. I started making Super Mario 64 videos, which really got me into YouTube, and eventually RuneScape videos. I even, a few months ago, rewatched my bank video from 2008, which I'll link down below if you want to watch it, where I actually did commentary for that video, and it's awful commentary back in 2008 using the cheapest microphone imaginable, but I tried my best and I had a lot to say in that bank video, surprisingly. And I've only really consistently done videos on kind of a weekly basis for the last couple of years, and that's where my channel has done much better. But it's interesting that even back then I wanted to do commentary. I like talking about video games for some reason. It's very interesting to me. But I guess that's one aspect of it, now that I think about it, that I do enjoy doing commentary. It's a skill that's very fun to practice. It can be frustrating sometimes, and it could vary day to day. Some days I try to record commentary and I'm just like, I can't get my words together, I don't know what I'm saying, it's a mess. And some days I can just turn on the microphone and speak as long as I want and I can get my thoughts out just fine. That's not to say that I'm an expert at it though, I'm far from it, and I just try to improve on it every year. Like, one thing I think I've improved on a lot in the last few years is eliminating verbal fillers. I would say between some sentences, but eventually I had to teach myself to just be silent instead of saying verbal fillers because it actually sounds much better, and it just makes a lot more sense in general. Maybe I'll say one every once in a while, but I guess that's part of it, that I know that I've improved on this skill and I continue to improve, so it's kind of like a nice process where it's rewarding. So that's part of why I like making videos. So as for other reasons, I've thought of several. One is that I simply like to show what I've been doing in-game, or show accomplishments, or talk about them, or talk about achievements or goals. Like, for example, if I get a DK's pet drop, which I did get one, that was a long process to get that one, it's very interesting to me to talk about that and to show the process and tell you guys my reaction to it and all that. If I wasn't making videos and if I didn't have that way to express myself, it would be not as exciting because there wouldn't be all these people to share it with. Of course, you could post it on Twitter or with friends, and that's what most people do, because making videos is a lot of work and it's not for everyone. But for me, it is nice to have that platform to share all that. I also like making guides and showing people how I do things in-game. For example, the Venenatus pet grind took me almost 3000 KC, and I spent a lot of time trying to find the most efficient and practical setup to fight that boss. And it almost feels like a waste to go through all that effort and then not share the method with anyone. And it's also just a convenience thing for me, because if people see, oh, nice Venenatus pet, how did you get it, what was your method? I don't have to go into detail explaining it to everyone. I can just say, here, I have a guide on it, and let me know if you have any questions, so it saves me time as well. Also, I think being inspired by other YouTubers is a big part of it, especially when I started. Like, for example, in 2007, I would watch Sky Cheese videos quite a bit. For example, his Things Wrong with RuneScape series, I thought it was just fascinating that people were making videos on this game that I played and talking about it and showing off cool things in it, and it probably made me want to do the same. Also, I do think I recognized very early on that watching people playing video games is actually going to be very popular because back in the early 2000s, that wasn't obvious. There wasn't Twitch or YouTube or anything, and probably most people would have said, why would you want to watch someone play a video game when you could just play it yourself? But even back then, like when I was young and I would have my friends over and we would play Mario 64, and they were way better at it than me, I wouldn't mind watching them showing me how to get some of the more difficult stars or things like that, and I think I recognized early on that you can definitely enjoy watching other people playing video games, which wasn't very obvious back then to most people, I would say. Now, of course, in 2020, and for a long time now, we've known it's extremely popular to watch people playing video games. There are YouTube videos about gaming that get millions of views, and streamers that can get hundreds of thousands of views at one time playing video games. And in many cases, I think it's at least in part responsible for the popularity of a game. For example, where would old school RuneScape be if there was never any YouTube or Twitch or anything similar? I don't think it would be nearly as popular, and perhaps it wouldn't even exist anymore. That's probably a topic for another video, but let me know in the comments if you think old school RuneScape would exist if it wasn't for content creation. I think if it did exist, it would be much smaller. It's kind of off topic, but also kind of related, that I think that old school RuneScape is good for video making in some ways because there's a progression to it. You can see someone progress very clearly with their stats and their gear and the drops they get, whereas other games are kind of just like raw fun and you don't really make too much progress in them. There's lots of games that are very fun to play, but aside from getting a high score or some unlockables, there's not as much difference from when you first started playing to when you've been playing for a few years. Old school is also kind of a double-edged sword, though, because for the same reasons that you can show progress over time, it's also a somewhat grindy and repetitive game, which can make content creation difficult in some ways, so there's pros and cons to it, if that makes sense. Although it's certainly a net positive, the way the game works for content creation. So that's really all the thoughts I have. Maybe this turned into kind of a rambly video. I don't know how organized my thoughts came across here. Maybe I'll even change my mind on some of these things the more that I think about it, because this is all kind of just raw thoughts, but I just wanted to ramble for a little bit and kind of explain how I was feeling about this topic, because I do think it is very interesting. And I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I'm proud of my YouTube channel, but it wouldn't be anything without the support of the viewers, so thank you guys so much for that. Definitely hit the like button if you enjoyed. You can sub if you haven't already. You can join my clan chat in game, AndrewAJT62. You can join my Discord server down below. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram down below. And if you would like to support the channel even further, you can check out my Patreon page in the end screen. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on Tuesday.